Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for week 2 of our Education Basics. I am so excited to be on this journey with you. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jen. I just want to make sure that you guys have first gotten your 100 people, your list of 100 people from your week 1. I know that that may sound like a lot of people, but honestly, I've been doing this business for over 2 years, and I'm still coming up with people that were contacts before. That, they're not new people that I'm meeting, although I am meeting a lot of new people and sharing with them as well. But I still have people, I actually am sending a sample to a friend of mine that I made back in college. And I reconnected with him, and I've been talking to him for a while, but I've kind of been chicken, not sure if I wanted to, to see if he was interested in the oils. And so I took that 5 seconds of courage and asked him about it. And so I'm sending him some samples now. So, there's always going to be people that you can think of when you sit down and really start to write out your 100 people. So that's something that's really important too, to just write down those people. And then also the people that you think would really rock at this business. I know it almost sounds kind of salesy to approach somebody about the business, but we're going to talk a little bit about that a lot more as we go through this training. And it's not really I don't want you to come up with people that you're going to approach and say, hey, have I got a deal for you? Or, oh, you really need to be doing this. No, really, you need to be doing this. No, really. This isn't a high pressure thing. That's just not what this company is about. I can't say that there's not people that sell for this company that aren't that way, but that's not the heart of doTERRA. That's not the culture of doTERRA that you're going to find. It's not a pressure thing. But having those people in mind is really helpful, because you want to have people that are going to see the same benefits that you're seeing. You're here, you're learning for a reason, because you see that this is going to be a really great thing for you and for your life. And so don't necessarily think about people that are, oh, you're really great at sales. And you could think about people that they're, just good at sharing, that are good at talking to people that are just people. I don't know how else to say that, but so I really want you to write down those things. So if you haven't gotten that done from week 1, that's really important to get that done right now. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this over to Jen really quick and get started. And then I will be back at the end and we'll talk a little bit more. Also keep in mind as we're going through this that this is a recording that Jen did from a while ago. So some of the things on here are not the same as they were before. And we are going to have our own contests and that kind of thing. So anything that she says, free giveaways and stuff, that's something she did when she did this training. So, but we'll have our own stuff coming up. So let me get this turned over to her. There we go. I have to hit the right button. All right, sharing the screen. And here we go. And I'll be back at the end.
So welcome to week 2, Train to Elite. I hope you guys had a great first week doing this training. I really like this second week because I feel like we really start to get going with what it looks like to really, start getting ready to post your classes. And so I really love this week. But first of all, I do want to ask you real quick how it went last week. How did you do scheduling your success? And, you'll remember that's just figuring out when, the days are going to work and the times are going to work. And then how did you do creating your list of 100 people? The number one thing that people tell me is, I don't know that many people. And usually what that translates into, and maybe you're not aware of this, is I'm nervous, and what if people tell me no? So who are the 10 fake people who I know will like these oils? So my advice for you is to try to, this is always pushing yourself 5% more, making yourself a little nervous with people you'll add on your list. Don't add people that if they're mean people, by all means, but you'll be pleasantly surprised who likes these oils. And considering that everybody needs essential oils, it's easy to add people to your list. You may not feel comfortable adding people because you may think they're not interested. Always surprising who loves these oils. So I hope you guys did a great, are able to create your list. And I was going to show you one resource real quick. I'm just going to pull open the mydopro.com. I don't know if I showed you this last week, so I was going to show you now. But this is a really good resource because they have a lot of great tools and they have a lot of great webinars on here, some pre-recorded webinars. So one of the things that I like that they have is that expand your contacts, and it helps you to jog your memory of people that you could add to your list to put on, or just people to add on to your list. So of course my computer's going a little bit slower, but you'll just want to get your free account. I have mine, and then one of those things you have to like in capital letters. Let's see if I can remember my password. Okay. So you'll notice when we get in that they have a Learn section, and under the Learn tab, sorry, my internet's going a little bit slow today. It doesn't want to be working this early this morning. If you go to the Library section, you'll have a chance to look for, sorry, it's so slow. You'll start talking slower, but you'll have time to look for, I think it's, where's, okay, so if you go to the names list, just go to Library and the names list, it gives you some people, some ideas, like gives you ideas of people that you can share your oils with. And don't be afraid, like, don't be afraid to just share samples with these people. I mean, as long as you approach them well, which of course you will, we've talked about that, it's not going to be a problem. So this will give you a way to jog your memory of people that you can share oils with. So just type in the names list when you get into My Dough Pro. Okay, so back to our little PowerPoint. So I hope you were able to find some people to share samples with this last week. And I hope you were able to meet with your accountability partner and schedule an appointment with your mentor. That is a huge thing, is just to talk to your mentor. I once heard a really good phrase or saying, and it said, on a good day, reach up, or excuse me, reach down. So you're having a good day, that's when those are the days you really want to work with your team. On a bad day, reach up. So those are the days that you really do want to be reaching out to your mentor and saying, oh my gosh, this is so hard. You know, I've shared samples with people, they don't seem to be interested, you know, whatever it is. So reach up on your days that you're frustrated. And of course you want to reach to your team more than just on your bad days, or your good days, but make sure not to interact with people. If you're really feeling blue about it, then take that day to talk to your mentor. That's why they're there. You know, we've all had these. Teresa Harding is my mentor in doTERRA. She's a presidential diamond, and she'll tell you if you're not wanting to quit at least twice a week, you're not doing something right because you're not pushing yourself hard enough. So that's kind of her little joke. So you know, when you have those tough times. So that's why it's really good to have a mentor. And then, you know, I hope you were able to get onto My Dough Pro and search around. They've got really great resources. And then doTERRA University has some great resources as well. And I don't know if I mentioned that last week. So if you want to go to doTERRA University, it's one of my favorite places to send new people because there's these really short little videos that explain things to them. And the way they explain them, whenever I listen, I'm like, oh, that was such a great way of explaining that. And it's really short and simple, which is awesome. So if somebody's just interested in using the oils, they can just watch little videos on the oils. So this is good for you to watch, but I would also recommend that you send this to other people, the new people on your team. So it's awesome. So that's doTERRA University, which is a really great resource as well. So we're going to talk about the 631 planner again. I know I will mention this every single week because I really do believe that consistent habits lead to consistent success or consistent results. And these are the daily habits I really want you doing eventually. Right now, you're just focusing on sharing your oils, and then you're going to be setting up a class. So next week, you're going to be doing your class, and then you're going to be, then we'll talk about following up. But these are the things that breed successful people in doTERRA. When you do these things, you will be successful with your business. So I want you to attend your weekly team meeting, talk to your mentor, and then teach a class. So don't worry if you're new and you're thinking, oh my gosh, there's no way I can teach a class. Don't stress out because you don't need to teach your first class. Well, you may need to, depending on your circumstance, but I will walk you through it so you don't need to be nervous. If you're in an area where you have somebody that can teach for you, they'll be doing your first class for you. So I want you to look at your list that you created, and I want you to break your list up into two. So you may have people that you put that are local. That's great. So divide your list into those people who are local and those people who are out of town. So when I first started doing this, the majority of my enrollments were actually coming from out of town. Now, I love the phrase build local, go global, or grow global. So when you start local, it really does start to expand out. the easiest way to build your business is right in your own backyard. There's a book called Acres of Diamonds that I really like. It's a really old book. Maybe really old. It's not 600 years old, but it's not like one of those newly written books. But it just talks about a gentleman who was so anxious to mine diamonds, and he went out. He sold his family everything, and he went out to look for these diamonds, and he couldn't find them. And it turns out he was actually living on a very lucrative diamond mine himself. And he literally left that to go look for, seek riches elsewhere, when really it was literally right in his backyard. And so I really do recommend working local. But if you have some good contacts out of town, that's always a good thing to do. But, I know some people think, oh, I need to build outside of my area. And the best, or they'll get excited because they have a friend in another country. Building local is the easiest and most effective thing to do, because you're there, you can help the classes, you can really help every step of the way. But you can do out of town too. I did that as well when I first got going. And, it was a little bit more difficult, but we made it work. And now the reason I do like it is because I have teams all over. We didn't just all start in the same area. So you're breaking up your lessons too. And then I want you guys to schedule out your March. So it's March 3rd, so we're right at the beginning of the month. And I want you to decide how many classes you want to do a month. So I would just set a benchmark for yourself that you want to be meeting. People who are really serious about this business will want to do one class a week. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're doing a class at your house every week, but you're doing a class for yourself and then finding other people to host as well. So remember, the more classes that you have, the more money you will make and the faster you will grow. So I want to share something real quick that Diane Shepard does that is absolutely brilliant. So she is a presidential diamond in doTERRA, and she does a program called 6 Weeks to Elite. And I just learned about it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So what she does is when she starts a new builder, she has them do, in fact, I'm going to go to her website real quick. She has them set up 4 classes right away. And that might sound overwhelming, and you may feel like, oh my gosh, that's so much work. There's no way I can set up 4 classes all at once. But the reality of it is you're inviting the people on your list to all 4 classes at once. So what you're doing is you're giving them the option to attend one of 4 classes. And the great thing about that is that people oftentimes want to come to your classes, but they can't. And so sometimes we think, oh my gosh, well, we can't, they're not interested because they didn't come. And the truth of it is they're busy, they have stuff going on. So what she does is she has her people set up they set up 4 classes. So this is an example right here. So you could do, one the morning of February 20th, you could do, do Tuesday morning, Tuesday evening, Wednesday evening, and then you can try one on Saturday so that you have a little bit of variety of times. You've got a morning class, you've got evening classes, and you have a weekend class. What you do is you invite this to everybody on your list, and you give them a sample of the oils, because that's really important to give them a sample of the oils when you're inviting them. But the cool thing is it's actually cutting back on work for you. Because if you think about it, you're inviting you're giving them 4 options at once. So instead of going back and re-inviting that same person over and over until they can come, you're giving them 4 options right up front. And then your goal at these classes is to book other classes. So to have people want to host. And I can talk about some things that I like to do to get people to book other classes for you. But this is how she starts her people. So the goal is they do 4 classes in that first week. And they do the same class. It's an intro class every single time. And you invite once. You're inviting all the same people once. So then they're like, oh, there's 4 times. And you call and remind them once, and you call and you text and remind them once. Give them their samples. So then the goal is to do 2 classes a week for the next 5 weeks. The goal is that you're hitting Elite in 6 weeks, which is awesome. So if anybody's interested in this, you can actually just go to myoilplace.com, and you can actually edit this yourself so that it will work for you, so it will work for your classes. So it's really, really awesome. So, okay, so scheduling your classes for a month. So that Elite in 6 weeks is just an idea. And remember, this is your business, and you're more than welcome to do whatever you like with it. But I'm just giving you the ideas of what you can do to really make this work, and then you're welcome to do what you like from there. Now, if you like the idea of doing distant classes, you can do that. So one thing that you can do is you can find a host in that area. And what I've done is I've even sent them several samples. Like if they haven't signed up themselves yet, is also some, samples of the family physician kit oils, and that's their gift for hosting. And then they have them to pass around at the class, and I'll have them hook up their computer to their TV. They can do a Skype class, and I'll get on and teach the class, or you can do a simple webinar. A little bit easier. But I do like Skype classes because it has a central location for your guests to come to. If you have interest in that, you can talk to me and I can give you more specifics on that. But what I would do is really focus on setting up your local class. And if you're really nervous and you're feeling like there's no way I can teach it, that's okay. Find somebody to help you teach. If there's nobody that can help you teach, then there's a really great thing called Class in a Box that will definitely make it so you can do an effective class on your own. So you want to invite your local, or set up your local classes and invite your local people. And I just talked to you about the Train to Elite, which is, or Train to Elite, the Elite 6 weeks, which is definitely an option. And that's a program designed for people who are serious about the business, that really want this business to get going and that want to make money right away. So I'm a huge fan of the movie Field of Dreams because I love how they say, if you build it, they will come, or build it, they will come, or something. But the idea is if you build that baseball diamond, you're going to have a baseball game. So I like the idea of picking your date and then letting people know. One time, a lot of times people will come and say, I'll ask around and see if I can find some interest. And that always makes me cringe. And I'll tell you why. First of all, I've done the same thing. So if you've ever done any of these things that I tell you, don't feel bad because I've already done it. But the reason I cringe when people ask, when they say I'm going to ask around to see if there's interest, is because people don't know if they're interested in these oils. And if you ask them if they're interested, they'll probably say no. It's going to be much more effective to pick a date and say, you know what, Shannon, I absolutely love these oils. My son actually slept through the night last night for the first time in weeks, and I know that you've been battling that with your kid. So I'm going to give you a sample of this lavender, and I wanted to invite you to this essential oil class today because I know you're going to find really great value in it. So I really like the idea of inviting your friends instead of asking you. Because most of the time when you ask them, they'll say no. I would have said no. If somebody would have said, are you interested in going to an essential oil class? I would have said, heck no. That's witchcraft. I'm not going to do it. But when somebody came to me and said, I know you're struggling with anxiety, you really should try this essential oil. In fact, I'm going to give you a sample. That was so much more effective. And that's when I started using the oils. So pick your date, pick your location, and decide who you're inviting to each class. So I'll tell you that the ideal class size is 5 to 8 people. In fact, I was just talking to a gal on my team that's building, and she was saying, I'm having a really hard time getting around to everybody to get them signed up. And I was like, I know. It can be difficult. So unless you have other people that are helping you that can help close a class, the ideal class size is 5 to 8 people because you can, have a personal conversation and personally help each one of those people get enrolled with what they want. So basically, if you build it, they will come. You're going to pick your date. You're going to pick your location. You're going to decide who you're inviting to each class. You're going to use your list, and then you're going to do really strive for 5 to 8 people at each class. So tools to have on hand for a class. So for sure, you're going to want to have, or tools to have on hand is oil. You want to have oils to share. That's going to be a huge thing. People are nervous to buy something they haven't tried. So, and you don't have to worry because you're not going to give them tons. You're just going to give them a sample. I used to personalize my samples, and now sometimes I do, but normally I just give them like a sample of peppermint or lavender and say, here's how you use this. Love to have you come to my class where you can learn more. I've got an expert teacher coming. You're going to love this. So oils to share is huge. Those sample vials are huge. I'm hearing from a lot of people that my oil business and aroma tools are out of sample bottles. Another place that you can try is essential oil gear. There's several different places that you can find. There's a lot of different people that are trying to jump on the bandwagon of coming up with the stuff for your oils. So here's another website. So you can definitely look around to see, where you can find sample bottles. I was just going to say real quick for you guys who I know have been having a hard time getting sample bottles, but I'm not going to look at this. Yep, they do have containers and sample bottles. So, here's another option. So if you're going to my oil business for aroma tools and feeling frustrated, you can buy 12 sample bottles through Essential Oil Gear. And I have bought a diffuser from them, and they've been great. So it's gone well for me. So I would definitely recommend this company as well. That's just another idea if you've been feeling like, oh boy, everybody's out. So you want to have your oils, your sample vials, your cards or brochures. Invitations are huge, and host gift is huge as well. So when I'm doing a host gift, what I do is, for example, like if I have a friend that's going to be hosting for me, I want to make sure they're prepared and that they're able to invite effectively. So one thing I do is I give them their samples. I'll say, you know what, I really appreciate you doing this class for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some samples to share with your friends, some invitations, and then I will drop off that gift to their, drop that off to their home, and you can even do a gift for them for hosting. So that's one thing that I like to do is give them a gift to say thank you, and I like to give them the invitations, the samples, and then I walk them through how to invite, which I'm going to go through with you in just a moment. One thing that is important that you can try is if you have other people hosting classes for you, this is an extra step, but if it's something that you want to do, you certainly can. And that is getting their invitation list from them, and you can contact their guests and just let them know, hey, I'm going to be teaching this class. I'm so excited to meet you. The reason I like to do that is I'm sure you guys have had an experience if you're not new at doing this. You've had a host bail on you or cancel their class last minute. And a lot of times the reason they do that is because they didn't prepare or they really didn't invite anybody. So if you can get them to commit to inviting and get their list of who they've invited, you've now made contacts with those guests. And if something happens, you can say, oh, you know what, I've actually been in contact. You've got 5 people that are really excited to come. A lot of times it'll encourage that host to actually do the class. So I'm going to give you some tips on inviting to class. So I did talk earlier about one thing I don't like to do, and I'll talk about that and things to avoid, is avoid asking people if they're interested in coming to a class. Your job is to show people why they should be interested in doing stuff. Because if they haven't heard of it, they probably are going to say, yeah, I'm not interested. They don't know what it is. And I tend to say no to things when I don't know what they are either. So my tips for inviting are be confident, be positive, keep it simple, get a commitment, and share a sample and give an invitation. So I literally will go knock on someone's door, like if I'm going to invite them to a class, someone that I know, and I'll just say, hey, Sharon, I just wanted to invite you to my essential oil class. Have you ever heard of essential oils before? And if they say, yes, I'll ask them, well, that's so awesome. So, what have you tried them before, or what's your experiences? Then find out. If sometimes you'll find out their mom does doTERRA. That's great. You can still invite them to your class, but you'll realize that's probably not going to be someone that will be enrolling with you. If they say no, I'll say, okay, that's so awesome. I totally was like you 2 weeks ago. I had never heard of these oils, but I started using them, and my kids have been sleeping through the night. So I love an oil called lavender, and I actually wanted to bring you a sample of this to try, and I wanted to invite you to a class next Tuesday at 7. I've got a friend coming to teach you something. She's been using these oils for 5 years. She's a total expert. She knows a lot about these. And I thought about you and thought that you might really enjoy this. And so I wanted to see if you would be able to come. And I'll ask them, try to get a commitment out of them, see if they say they can come. Another thing you can do if you want to get a more solid commitment is you can offer gifts at your class. So you could, if you ever want to do like the class in a box, they have wild orange, the little 5 mils of wild orange. I think you get like 10 or 20 of them in the class in a box. I think it's 10. And I could be wrong. But the point is you get some wild oranges. And what you can even just say is, hey, I'm going to be doing this class next Tuesday, and I would love for you to come. In fact, I actually have a gift for the first 10 people that come. So I wanted to know if I can count on you to come to my class. Because if you can, I'm going to make sure to save one of those wild oranges for you. And I'll make sure, or whatever gift that I have to give away. But I make sure that they can come before I, promise that I'll save that for them. And if they say, well, I'm not sure, I'll say, you know what? Let me know as soon as you find out, because I want to make sure that if you're able to come, that you're able to get one of those oranges. But I can only hold them for those who are able to solidly commit right now. So, I'll just say something like that. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you certainly don't have to do it. But offering free things to get people to class can always be a good thing. Again, things to avoid. These are very similar to last week, is talking too much, giving too many samples. I cannot stress this enough. This will kill your business. Or not kill it, but it can make it a little bit harder because, and I did this at the beginning too. I found this lady that I was like, she's going to be this huge builder, and I gave her like 6 samples. And oddly enough, she never enrolled. And I think it was because, I gave her a lot of oils to try, and I think she was a little bit overwhelmed by it. And I also think that it was like, wow, this is great. I've got the whole arsenal right here if I ever need it. So, so I don't like to give too many samples. In fact, I like to give 1 or 2. Now, if I'm inviting to a class, I try to keep it simple and just give everybody the same sample. If I know someone's really been struggling with asthma, I'll give them a sample of green, because you want them to have a great experience. It's not a great oil to have a good experience with. Don't ask if they're interested. Tell them. Your job is to show them why instead of to ask them if they would be. And don't tell them when you're inviting them, I'm doing this class. No pressure. You don't have to come to buy it. You don't have to buy anything. Well, you're putting your time and effort into this class, and we are preparing your friends for soil. That's the truth of it. we're not going to high pressure them. That's not what we do. In fact, we just show them natural solutions. People want to buy these on their own. So telling them that they don't have to buy can really be a buzzkill for a class. Now, again, I've done this, so don't feel bad because I've done all these things. In fact, I went to Baltimore and taught a class once, and at the end of the class, I said, okay, nobody feel any pressure to buy anything. Strangely enough, nobody enrolled at that class. And it was because I told them from the get-go they didn't have to buy anything. And then at the end, I reiterated that. You don't want to make that comment because obviously we do give them the control. They don't want to buy, they don't have to, but I'm not going to tell them that. I'm just going to show them how to find natural solutions, and I'm going to show them how to find the best prices for those natural solutions. But it is in their hands, of course. Okay, so I gave you some of this is the sample scripts. I gave you some ideas of how to invite it already. But now let's say that I want to invite somebody to a class that I've already given a sample to. So you can go to their house and just say, hey, I wanted to follow up and see how that oil works for you. And I listen to what their experience was, and sometimes they'll say, I haven't tried it yet, and I'll say, oh man, you'll definitely want to try that. This oil is great for helping your kids sleep, but I'm sure you probably don't want to go too many more nights without getting any sleep. Whatever it is. Or if they say they've tried it and they love it, or that's great. If they say, oh, you know what, I tried it and it just didn't work, I'll say, okay, so tell me about what you did, how often you used it and how much. What I usually find is that people usually aren't using enough of the oil, or they're not using it often enough. Or sometimes, let's get you to a class so that you can learn about another oil that might be a better option for you, because we're all different and how we respond is different. In fact, I actually have a class that I would love for you to come to. It's going to be this Tuesday at 7, and I'd love for you to be there. Do you feel like you might be able to make it to the class? Or do you feel like you'll be able to come to the class? And I just invite them, and I try to get a commitment out of them. That's how I do it. I'm following that. So I ask them how the oil went for them, and then I invite them to the class. And if they say it didn't work, I'll say that's totally okay. Usually, if they're not using it enough, maybe they're not using it enough and not using the oil often enough. And, this class would be a great opportunity for you to come learn about some other solutions, because we're all different. It's kind of like if you go to the doctor and you tell them you have depression, they have a whole different slew of antidepressants they can give you, and it's about finding the right one that works for you. The cool thing about the oils is you don't have to go through all these negative side effects in the meantime. You're actually going to get positive side effects, and it's a really cool thing. So I'd love for you to come and learn about that in class. That's my sample script for following up, and I just showed you my script for inviting somebody new. So when I invite, I like to invite them 7 to 10 days before the event. I like to have an oil to them when I invite them. I also like to call to remind them 48 hours before the event. I don't ask them if they're coming, I just simply remind them. So I'll just say, hey, calling to remind you about this class. I'm so excited because I know how much you're going to love these oils for your son's asthma. And I can't wait to see you. So I'll see you Tuesday at 7. Then you want to text and remind them 4 hours before the event. So again, same thing. I'll see you at 7 p.m. or class tonight, 7 p.m. my house. Can't wait to see you. Something that simple. So reminding people is huge. And, I think sometimes people are worried about bothering their friends. And my biggest piece of, my comment that I would make to that is your friends are not going to be annoyed if you're confident about it and you're friendly and you're simple about it. If you just call and say, I just wanted to call and remind you about that class. When it gets awkward is when you feel awkward about it. Because then other people pick up on that awkwardness. So just confidently remind them about that class and just say, hey, just wanted to remind you about that class. I will tell you there's been things I've almost forgotten about before, and I'm grateful for that reminder call because otherwise I wouldn't have gone. So definitely make sure you invite or remind. That's an important thing. Now, I wanted to talk real quick about booking classes with others. So this is kind of skipping ahead a little bit, so I apologize for that, but I think some of you guys it'll be really good information for you. And I like to do my own classes, but what I love is I love to tap into other people's networks as well and do classes with them. So, I've done things like if I'm going to go out of town, go to a certain area, I'll ask whoever I'm going to go visit to say, hey, you know what? I would love to come and share these oils with you. And I love it. It's just as easy for me to do just a class with you as it is for you and a few of your friends. So, and I would love to actually give you a gift for doing a class. So if you wanted to get like 5 people to come, like 5 people who are new to oils, I would love to give you this free diffuser. I'll give them a gift for hosting. And then I make sure that they have their samples and their invitations as we've already talked about. So I'll ask people to book or to do a class for me. And sometimes I'll even let them know, you know what, I'm working really hard towards this goal, and I would love if you could help support me in this. would you be willing to host a class? I will make it totally simple for you. I will get you all of the stuff you need to do. All you need to do is invite your friends. I'll give you the invitation. I'll give you the sample. And I'll even show you exactly how to invite your friends. So it's really easy for you. So I'll ask him how to, I'll just ask him to do a class for me. And I don't ever see anything wrong with telling somebody you're doing a favor for them. In fact, I just helped somebody hit a new rank this last Saturday, and they were super excited about it. And we did a couple of promotions to help her hit the rank. And one of the things when we reached out to people to help get some orders is we told them, I'm super close to my goal, and I would love to hit, I'd love to be able to hit this goal that I'm working for. So here's what I have to offer you. Would you be willing to purchase some oils? Okay, first of all, most of the people that we asked said yes. And second of all, every single one of the people that purchased came back and asked either me or her if she hit her goal. They were all so excited to help her hit her goal. So it never hurts to ask somebody to host a class and let them know, you know what, this would benefit me and I would appreciate it because I'm working really hard to do this business full time, and the more classes I can do, the closer I am to quitting my job and staying home with my kids. Because a lot of times if you close it, that you're doing them a favor. So I for sure would not want, you don't want to just make it like it's all about them, because they may say, oh, no, thanks, I'm not interested. But if you want to know that you're there doing something to help you, people are happy to help. They want to help you. So it's definitely not a bad thing to say, hey, this would really benefit me and I'd appreciate it. I'd love it if you would do a class for me. So when somebody hosts for me, literally, I give them their gift. I give them the samples, I give them the invitations, and then I send them a link on how to invite to their class. Because if they're going to do a class, I want it to be effective. Now, one way to book classes off of classes is when you do your class, I've done things like where I have like a little mason jar that has it's a raffle. And so I'll have like a little gift that I'm giving away in front of it and say, anybody who wants to enter to win this little lemon lavender peppermint trio, if you want to book a class, you'll be entered into a drawing. And anybody who books a class that night is entered into the drawing, and I'll have like a calendar there with the dates that I can do my classes. You don't want to come and sound like you're wide open and you have limitless time. You want to create some value for yourself. So I'll just say, I can class this day or this day, what works better for you. But I like to get their classes booked right then and there. And and maybe sometimes I'll just say, hey, anybody who books a class tonight, you'll get a bottle of this wild orange and side milk, and it's an awesome thing to have in your home. And all you need to do to earn it is book a class. And it's really simple. In fact, just come, I'm going to talk to each one of you at the end. I'll just say something really simple like that, but I do try to book my classes off of my classes. So your job this week is to get your classes scheduled. So, and I forgot to change this, not January, March. So I want you to do at least one in March. And if you're serious about this, I'd love for you to do the 6 weeks to Elite where you're doing four your first week, and then having it be your goal to get 2 classes booked for that next week. And then, when you're doing those next classes, you're getting 2 classes booked for that next week. That would be really awesome. Again, totally up to you. This is your business, but make sure you're doing at least 1 class this month. And some tips that I have for you are to invite 2 times as many people as you want to attend. The reason is it's so normal for people to bail. And whenever I go to someone's class, almost everything they say is, oh my gosh, like 3 of my friends that were supposed to come aren't coming anymore. They're panicked and they're worried and they feel bad. Don't stress about that. That is so normal. We're used to that. So make sure that you invite two times as many people that you want to attend. So I would, if you can get a good 20 people invited to a class and, well-qualified people, you should have a good class of 8 to 10 people. And then this week I want you to, find 5 more people to share samples with. Now, again, when people are serious about the business, I tell them to be doing 1 class a week, and I also tell them to be doing 2 new contacts a day, so finding 2 people a day to share samples with. Now I'm getting ready to go down to Arizona to work really hard with my 6th leg, and one thing that I told her was that I wanted her to find a group, a meetup, or something that we can go to every single day so that we can work on finding new people to share the oils with. So you might look into doing that same thing. So meet with your accountability partner, meet with your mentor, and then your personal development. Now some bonus items. If you want to watch that comp plan video, that is an awesome thing to watch because it walks you through the basics of the compensation plan so that you can learn more about how you're going to make money with doTERRA. And then if you want to watch the videos on how to invite on my DoPro, that's a great thing as well. And then when we send you the homework today, we will give you the link on how to invite. It's a 12-minute video that you can watch as well. So we'll go over the exact same stuff, and then you can send that 12-minute video to anybody that's going to be doing a class for you. So have a wonderful day, and we will talk next week.
All right. So I hope you guys were able to get all kinds of good stuff from Jen. I absolutely love this training. I think she just does a fantastic job of laying it out and just making it really simple. I always tell people that this isn't necessarily an easy business, but it's definitely very simple. And I say it's not easy because it does require your time. It does require effort. It's not something that you're just going to, I don't care what anybody says. There's no multi-level marketing, direct sales. There's no real company out there that you're going to be making money by just sitting on your butt doing nothing. So, but it is very simple. There's not a whole lot of complex details or a lot of things that you have to know before you start or anything like that. It's very simple. So I really love that. And I love the way she lays things out. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. So one of the things I want you guys to do is to schedule a class before June 30th. So right now, we're just about at the middle. We're a little bit before the middle, so that still gives you several weeks to get your class. So I want you to schedule it before June 30th. Now, this can be any kind of class that you want it to be. So if it's something that you want to schedule and have me teach, I do online classes, like this kind of webinar type thing, where you'll just have your computer there, and I'll be there, and I'll teach the class. Or if you're local, I would be more than happy to come out and teach a class. And but you need to schedule it and get people invited, get your samples handed out. I'll tell you, I'll be completely honest with you. When I first started doing this, I really didn't see the value in handing out samples before the class. It was just kind of like, well, they're going to come to the class, they're going to try the stuff. So why worry about getting it out before? But honestly, handing out the samples and having them try it first, really, it eliminates a lot of things. For one thing, they've already tried it. So they're not going to be as likely to come to the class and be like, well, I think I'll buy retail because I just want to try it before I buy it. They've already had an experience, and then they have another experience at the class. So you're a lot less likely to get retail customers that way. You're going to get more wholesale customers because they've already started using it a little bit. Another thing is, too, when they get a sample, they're more likely to want to come to the class because they're going to want to learn more because our samples are awesome. So it really is important that you get the samples out to your people at least a week ahead of time, at least a week before the class. Now, like Jen said, she used to personalize her samples. So it's like, okay, well, you've got these 10 people that you want to invite. So what do you think they would like the most? And I mean, honestly, when you first start out, it's not that difficult, but it's more time consuming than what it needs to be. So what I usually do is I will do and it depends too, because if there's somebody that's going to be inviting a lot of people, like you're going to be inviting 20 people and, they're all going to want to sample, you can tailor this, but I usually do 10 samples total. So I will do 3 peppermint, 3 lavender, and 4 orange, or, add that extra one onto peppermint or orange or whatever. So I make 10. And then I give those to the host to hand out. So I make it really simple. I make a little card that goes with it that talks about how to use the peppermint, how to use the orange. And I can share those with you. Those are super easy to make. But basically, I just looked into the book. And honestly, I have 1,000 uses for all 3 of those, but that I use them for personally. But I looked into the book for specific other things because I use, for example, I use peppermint for my tummy aches, or if I have head discomfort. That's the compliant way to say that. And those are the 2 main things that I use peppermint for. But I actually just started branching out, and I'm using peppermint in my garden to keep the bugs away. I'm using peppermint. I use it in my house to get rid of the ants. It's great for getting rid of spiders. It's just awesome in the summertime. But the point is, there's other uses of it that I don't necessarily use all the time. So it's really great to look in the book. But I just make a little card, hand it out with them. So I give all that to the host so that she can hand it out as she's inviting her people. But it really does make a difference. It makes a big difference to have those samples and hand them out ahead of time so that they can try them before they come to the class. So I just wanted to inject that there. That really does make a big difference. Oh, I wanted to show you. I'm going to have to share my screen again here. Bear with me as there's a few buttons. I wanted to show you. There we go. If you look on Amazon, now these little glass spray bottle thingies are super cute, and they're 10 milliliters, so that's the same size as a rollerball bottle, but they're little spray-ons. I use these things all the time, and they're really great for hostess gifts. For one thing, you can fill them up with, like in the summertime right now, you could fill one up with TerraShield. That would be perfect as a hostess thank you. I'm doing one right now this month where I'm giving away after sun spray. So, if somebody's been in the sun a little bit too long, they can spray this on there and it feels really good. So these things are really great for all kinds of different stuff. And you can get them in different colors and patterns and all that fun stuff. So this is a really great place. I will say these two particular ones are the ones that are in my shopping cart because they are Amazon Prime. Some of the other ones that you might look at, they might be pretty, but the shipping is like, I think a month out or something like that. So definitely pay attention to that, to the shipping if you want to get it soon. My husband wants me to order this since we have chickens, so that's why that's in there. But the 10 milliliter roll-on bottles, these are really great too. So Amazon's a really great place to get these from. And then these are the 1/8 fluid ounce, 1 gram, whatever. It's about half the size of those. I like these if I'm giving out a sample to somebody that, normally I just do the little sample bottles. But if it's somebody that I'm doing this for a younger child, I want to make sure that it's diluted, or somebody that I know is going to not want to mix their own. I want them to see how easy it is. I'll mix something up like that. So those are really good too. And then these 1/4 gram vials are really excellent. The price on these is also really great because there's 144 of these. So that's going to last you quite a long time. And the cheapest other place I've ever found them on one of the other websites is like $35 for 144. So this is a really, really good price. So I highly recommend you do that. I will say though, anytime you order anything on Amazon, just make sure that you check and make sure that the seller is a good seller, somebody that's been selling for a long time, has a good reputation, because you don't want to be getting, crummy bottles. Because handing out your samples in ugly looking bottles is just not cool. This particular diffuser is also a really great diffuser to give out as a gift. As your hostess gift. It's a travel diffuser, so just to make sure that you're aware ahead of time, this is one that is a USB plug-in. It does not have a regular wall plug-in. So if you are going to give this to somebody that maybe doesn't have a computer or wouldn't have an iPhone, so they don't have a USB plug-in or something like that, you may want to get one. But otherwise, just know that it only has the USB plug-in, but it is a really great thing. You can put it in the car. It's very small, so it should fit into your cup holder. It's great to have, at your office. It's just a really neat hostess gift, and it's really pretty cheap, but they work really well. So, anyway, that's another one that I wanted to show you. But so Amazon has a lot of really great things. Obviously, you would never buy essential oils off of Amazon. I don't care how good the deal is. You never know what's actually in that bottle. But I will say, they do have some really great deals on the supplies that we need. So I'm going to stop sharing so you can see me again. Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to show you that alternative place to get your stuff. And then at the end of her video, she was talking about doTERRA's comp plan video, and you can definitely check that out. I highly recommend it. But I also have one that I made that I put into our Facebook page. So you can go check that one out too. And all I did was just walk you through the comp plan. But it's a short little video, and it's definitely worth watching. And then, okay, so do your homework for this week, and I'm going to send you out the link to make sure that you can get that in. But I want you to schedule a class before June 30th. So you've got lots of time to do that. If you're wanting me to teach it for you, you definitely have to get with me ASAP because my month is filling up quick. So, but if you want me to teach it for you, I can do, a Skype class. It would be probably a Zoom class like this particular one, because then I can see other people better with the Zoom. But we can do that however you want to do it. We can do it online, or we can do it in person if you're local. But just let me know so we can get that done. And then I want you this week to give out a sample to 5 more people. It's interesting, the people you meet. I actually met a girl yesterday at the store, and we just started talking. It's kind of funny because I have a child with special needs, and other special needs moms, it's like as soon as we start talking, we just start talking about the hospital and all the stuff that we had to go through. And it's like you have an instant connection. And so, we got to talking about oils too. So it's definitely, you can meet people anywhere. I definitely would not walk up to somebody and just be like, have you heard about essential oils? You're going to sound like a crazy person. But strike up a conversation with people. People like to talk. People like to tell you about their lives. They want to tell you about what's going on. So just strike up a conversation. Man, it's hot outside. I'm so glad I have my peppermint oil with me, or something like that. It just, you don't want to be obvious. You don't want to be in their face about it. But it's not that hard to strike up a conversation with somebody. So 5 people this week. Now, I want to be clear too when I say giving out a sample. I don't want you just to send a sample to somebody random. I want you to talk to them about the oils. So you're giving them a sample after you've had a conversation with them. You're not just, I don't want you to be a chicken about it. And believe me, I get it. I'm a chicken sometimes still too. Even after 2 years of doing it, sometimes I'm a chicken and like, are they going to like this? I don't know. But, I want you to really be forming connections. It's what this whole entire business is about. Any direct sales company, that's what it's about. People, when you go shopping at Walmart, you're not buying Sam Walton. You're not trying to create a personal relationship with him. But when you buy something from direct sales, Pamper Chef, Mary Kay, anything, you're building that connection, that relationship with the person who's selling it. And that's really what makes a big difference. So this is about creating relationships with people, not necessarily selling to them. So I want you to sample to 5 more people. And then, I don't think I talked about this very much on the first week, and I apologize. But, for the sake of this particular training, I want you to think of me as your mentor. And I want to meet up with you this week. And it doesn't have to be in person. It can just be a quick 15-minute phone call. I definitely don't want to take up your entire day. If I stay on the line for more than 15 minutes, you'll probably hear my kids screaming in the background anyway. But I want to meet up with you. I want to talk to you. I want to see how it's going. It's not a pressure thing. It's just really just a connection. Like I say, this is a connection business. And so I just want to connect with you and see how you're feeling, see what questions you might have. So we need to get that scheduled this week so that we can talk. So I'll be kind of hounding you about that this week. And then for personal development, I want you guys to, honestly, for the first year and a half or so of this business, maybe even a little bit longer. I apologize, I have something in my eye here. I focused so much on growing the business, and it was about, making the money, making the connections, the business. But I really missed the point, honestly. And just recently, I've been doing more of the personal development, and I'm so sorry, I have an eyelash in my eye here. But really just figuring out who I am. And it has made such a big difference. I can tell you, I have uncovered things about myself that I didn't even know, about my own self, about why I do some of the things I do and what was holding me back. and what was stopping me from moving forward and what I was really afraid of. And it's made a big difference, not just in doTERRA even, but also in my personal life. And it really does. It changes your life when you start to work on yourself. So I want you guys to find a book, any book that's going to help you with personal development. So there's a couple that I recommend. One of them is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. That one is huge. It's a really great book. There's also The Slight Edge. Honestly, I can't remember the author's name, but that's a really good one. The Slight Edge. There's GoPro by Eric Warhay. And I know there's another, Being the Starfish, and I can't remember the author's name. I'm so bad with names. But Being the Starfish is a really good one. And the cool thing about Being the Starfish is that it's actually written by a doTERRA wellness advocate. And, but it's really, I can't say that I agree with every single thing he says in there, but it's really powerful. It's a really great way to get going. So I just want you to pick a book that's going to help you with your personal development, help you with your business development. So those are just options. You don't necessarily have to pick that one or pick one of those four, but I want you to pick one. So those are your assignments for this week. And if you don't, like I said, if you don't have your 100 people, you really need to get that done. That's really important. So make sure you get your week 1 homework turned in if you don't have it turned in yet. And then I really would like to have our homework completely turned in every week before the next webinar. So the next webinar this week will be on Thursday. So please have your week 2 homework turned in by then. And I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited, and I'll talk to you guys sometime this week. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.